Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go
Well, you are a life post. That's a big deal. You are a life post. In fact, would you say that out loud? Say, I am a life post. Let's do that. I am a life post. Let's try it one more time together. I am a life post. Now, that declaration of identity carries a lot of weight with it. To be a life post means that you are recognizing who God declares that you are. That if you have a relationship with Jesus, that you are the church where you live, work, and play. You are a life post. And so one of the ways that we kind of think about this is like, if we really are who God says we are, then it's important that we man our post. That we recognize that he has positioned and placed us strategically where he has us. It isn't always necessarily where we want to be, because sometimes where he has us is something really challenging and really difficult, and somewhere that we would never choose to go on our own. Something in some situation where we wouldn't ever choose on our own to pursue that, but because of the dynamics of life or because of what God's up to in life, he's got us in a place. And it may not be the place you really want to be, but if it's the place you are, it's the place God has you. And if it's the place God has you, it's the place where God is present in you and through you. And being a life post is such a powerful reminder. And because it is so powerful, it is empowering, and it can transform the way that we view our world. And as we think about being life posts, you are the church where you work. Now there's a 4-letter word for you. Work. W-O-R-K. Now this word work a lot of times is something that many people try to avoid with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. And yet there's a part of us though that longs for meaningful work. And our relationship with work because of that is kind of interesting and a bit confusing for us. We long for meaningful work. We're created for work. In fact, if you have a relationship with Jesus, you're being recreated in his image, but we're told in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, that you are God's handiwork. So God created you. He is a creator. So his work was to create you. You are his handiwork, which by the way means you're a real piece of work. Not sure if anybody ever told you that before, but now you know what it meant. It's actually a compliment. You are a real piece of work, you. You are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus, you ready for this? To do good works, which he has prepared in advance for you to do. Now this is fantastic news. God is creator, and his work was to create you, and now you are created in him. So your identity in him is you are his handiwork. That's who you are. You are his workmanship, his handiwork, and now he has prepared good works for you to be a part of. And that's really good. That's why being the church where you live, work, and play is so important. Now, I understand that not everybody has a job, and so maybe you're listening to this going, well, I am not currently gainfully employed, or I don't work. Well, let's think about work a little bit differently. Yes, we'll spend some time thinking through job dynamics and work situations and where we're getting a paycheck. But also if you're a student, if you go to school, that would be the place where you are working scholastically, you're working, relationally, you're going to that place and you're working. If you're a volunteer somewhere, you're working with and for that organization. If you're doing chores at home, you are working perhaps for the benefit and the well-being of other people. And as we think about our work, if we change our minds on work and understand that we get to be a blessing because work can be a blessing. And if we see that through the lens that God has given us, then we're far more likely to enjoy the work that we do and be fruitful in that as God is being revealed to our world. Our memory verse for this series, Lifeposting, is found in Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. I'd love for you to read it out loud with me. In the same way, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. It is easy to think of our work and the place where we work as being a really dark place. And this is something that I hear a lot. People get really discouraged with their work because they say it's a spiritually dark place. I would propose to you that the only way that our workplaces can be spiritually dark is if the light of Jesus is not shining through us when we're there. And that's an important thing to think about. Now, it doesn't mean there aren't other factors. It doesn't mean there aren't oppressive elements. It doesn't mean there aren't toxic work environments. It doesn't mean that there aren't gossips and backstabbing and deceitful practices or whatever else may be going on there. That stuff's out of our control. What other people do is out of our control. But who we are and how we express our identity is very much in our control. God gives us authority and power to be who he declares that we are. That's right. And if you're fortunate enough to have a job, a place to go to, understand that that's not an accident, that God has strategically placed you there, and there is a tremendous opportunity to be a part of his light shining in what might otherwise be a very dark place. And so sometimes you get really frustrated and be like, but I'm the only one. I'm the only Christian at my job. I'm the only Christian at my school. I'm the only Christian with the people I hang out with. Hold on. That may be true for right now. But stop thinking of being the only one and start saying, I'm not the only, I'm the first.
That's good, yeah.
I'm the first, because you're believing. Because we pray for one at one church. That's what we do. We ask God every day, God, please give me one person to share your love with. Would you pray that with me? God, please give me one person to share your love with. I mean, that's a prayer that we can pray and have great confidence in, that God will answer that. That if our heads will be up and our eyes will be open, and we'll go when he says go, and we'll be where he says be, and our presence is there, and he's prepared good works in advance for us to do, and we're stepping out into faith into those good works. Well, people are going to meet Jesus in you.
Yeah.
This is the strategy to reach the most people in the shortest time. And it's not my strategy. This is his strategy. This was God's plan, to release his church into a world that he loves. To release his church into a world that he loves. You are the expression of God's love in your world. And that is a big, big deal. Now, when we think about work, I want you to know Jesus is the Lord of your work. This is an important thing to remember. Jesus is the Lord of your work. Would you say Jesus is the Lord of my work? Jesus is the Lord of my work. Now, what I mean by that is you may have a boss at your job. And so a lot of times we say, I can't do what God's calling me to do because my boss won't let me. Well, Jesus understands authority. God certainly understands authority. And we're going to read some scripture that unpacks authority and respecting authority and responding to authority. I promise you, what God actually has for you to do, he will make a way for you to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, sometimes we get something in our head that we want to do, or we think we ought to be able to do, or we think it should be this way. And then it can be really extremely frustrating when we don't get to do it. But the reality is that whatever God calls you to do, he will also make a way for you to do. Isn't that good? That means he'll provide all the resources. He'll provide the time, the energy, the place. He'll say, you trust in him. You walk with him. You receive the identity that he has for you. And then we live that out because Jesus is the Lord of our work.
Yep.
And yet, oftentimes we're so frustrated with work because we're working for the wrong boss. That's what happens. We're working for the wrong boss. And how do we know that? I did a little research. I was curious about how people in the United States feel about their jobs. And the data was a bit confusing. So a couple of things that I saw that didn't surprise me was that 80% of American workers are dissatisfied with their job. 51% of American workers are actively looking for a new job. Well, that's not all that surprising. But then 75% of American workers find fulfillment in their job. Wait, what? These numbers don't correlate. I'm not a sociologist, but this doesn't really seem to add up. How do we interpret this data? And as I wrestled with that, I realized, it's confusing because we're confused. Sometimes we enjoy our work very much, and it's very fulfilling, and we're good at it, and we're making a difference in our world, and we're making a difference in people's lives, and we have meaning and purpose through the work that we get to do, and we enjoy it and find fulfillment. But other times we don't. Why? Well, it's because of who we're working for. If it's a moving target, I only find fulfillment in my work when things are going my way, well then that's not going to be very sustainable and lasting. But if we're working for Jesus and we say, okay, wherever you have me, I'm going to be the church and I'm going to let his light shine through me in this dark place, now we can experience a lasting soul satisfaction and a great deal of passion and joy in the work that we're getting to do, but it means that we're working for the right boss. And understanding that sometimes these places are oppressive, sometimes they are very challenging, sometimes they're super unfair. But it's kind of like saying things like, I'm frustrated with my job because they don't pay me what I'm worth. I want to give you a bit of real truth right now. There is no job that will ever pay you what you're worth. Not a chance. Because what you're worth is for God so loved you that he gave his one and only son. You are worth his son dying on a cross for you. What you're worth, no amount of money could ever add up to or measure up to. And we have the opportunity when we work for Jesus then to go, I'm not working for a paycheck. Instead, I'm working for Jesus. I'm showing up, I'm giving my best, I'm letting my light shine before others because of the identity that he's given me. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, it says, but you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. This passage of scripture is such a beautiful and wonderful reminder of identity, who you are. And that's the thing, when you know who you are, then you'll know what to do. When you really know who you are, when you walk into any kind of a work environment, when you know who you are and who you're working for, then you'll also know what to do. You'll know how to relate to people. You'll know how to handle difficult and challenging circumstances. You'll know how to be respectful even when you're not being respected, because you know who you are. You're a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. You are his handiwork. Why? That you may declare the praises of him. That's why. He tells us who we are so that we'll know what to do. You are called out in this world to be God's church, a life post where you live, work, and play, so that you may declare the praises of him who has called you out of darkness and into wonderful light. You are the light of the world. You are a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. And since you are the light of the world, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. The best way to do this is to go to really dark places and be the light that God declares that you are. You may declare the praises of him who has called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light. And rethinking work reshapes this for us. And since work is one of those most difficult dynamics and situations that we find ourselves in, and one of the easiest to start mailing it in at, and just kind of put our faith to the side and make excuses and say it doesn't matter, instead, let's reframe that. And I want to encourage you, if you ever seen the movie Elf, I like the scene in Elf. Buddy the Elf gets a job, and he's got a job, and his boss is yelling at him, and he's smiling. And he's like, why are you smiling? He's like, smiling's my favorite. He says, make work your favorite. Now, as someone who has employees that I get to work with, sometimes I'm like, make work your favorite. I would really like that. Let's make your, well, what if work was one of our favorites? It doesn't have to be first favorite, but what if it was a favorite? You get a first favorite, second favorite, 12th favorite, make work a favorite. When work becomes a favorite, then we can change our relationship with work from a have to a get to. And this is a big mind shift. If we take our have tos and turn them into get tos, then we find that we start to want to. And that's really exciting. So instead of going, I have to go to work, do you? You're like, yeah, why else would I do it? I say you probably are doing it because you want to. No, I don't. Then why are you going? Because I have to. Really? There are plenty of people who don't go to work. That's an option. But you're like, but I'd like to pay my bills. Okay, so you want to pay your bills, therefore you want to go to work. But as you process this and you go, wait, I'm not going to work to get a paycheck. That is a benefit of this. But I'm going to work because I've talked to God and I know who I am. And here's an opportunity to declare the praises of him who has called me out of darkness and into his wonderful light.
Yeah, that's good.
Who doesn't want to do that? If we're praying for one, why would we not want to do that? And the darker it is, the more eager we might be to get there. the more anticipation we might have about being a light and how much brighter the light will shine, the bigger the difference that we get to make as God is being revealed where we work. Also, when we think about making work as our favorite, work is a blessing. This is really important because if we look at work as a curse, then we'll go to work thinking work is a curse, and we'll go there and we'll just add to the curse. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to be a blessing. And if we're thinking of it as a curse, then we look at other people and all the situations, and it's all about me. How is this going to serve me and meet my needs, as opposed to me going, well, wait a minute, I'm the blessing at work. How can I bless others? How can I bless the people who are most difficult? How can I be a blessing in this very difficult and challenging situation that God has placed me in, knowing that it's not an accident, but it's an on purpose? How can I be a blessing in that? Since I am blessed by him, I bring the blessing wherever I go. Work is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to share God's love. It's an opportunity to serve others. And as we're praying for one, this is an opportunity where God has given us a chance to be around people and an opportunity to know them and share his love. And work is fun. I know that may sound crazy, but tell me, there's been some times where you've had fun doing work. Ever done a good job? Isn't it fun to do a good job? You ever given it your best? It's fun to give your best. You ever surprised even yourself? It's fun. And you know what also is fun? Laying in bed at night tired. Laying in bed at night tired and going, that was a good day, God. Everything didn't go my way, but it was a good day. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
And then going to sleep. That's fun. Jesus is Lord of your work. Jesus also wants to transform your work. It's not going to stay the same. And that's the beauty of this. The way that Jesus transforms your work is by transforming you. If we have a work environment, a work situation where we find ourselves, if we are changed, then the work environment changes. And this is really powerful. We keep reading there in 1 Peter into verse 11. It says, "Dear friends, I urge you, as foreigners and exiles, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Submit yourselves, for the Lord's sake, to every human authority, whether to the emperor as the supreme authority or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. For it's God's will that by doing good, you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people." Well, that's good news right there. Anybody ever wanted to silence the ignorant talk of foolish people? Come on, you know you want to. You want to silence the talk, the ignorant talk of foolish people. Well, how do you do that? By doing good. Not by proving a point. Not by winning an argument. Not by putting them in their place. Not by dominating them in some way. But by doing good. It silences the talk, the foolish, ignorant talk of foolish people. And this is God's plan. By the way, at the beginning of this particular section we just read, verse 11, it says, "Dear friends, I urge you as foreigners and exiles." If you ever feel out of place in this world, it's because this world isn't where you belong. If you have a relationship with Jesus, like you understand that this is not your home, that you're created for heaven, and you're longing for your heavenly home with him. And so that's why this world can be so unsatisfying. That's why it can be so confusing, why you don't often understand the language of the world that we're navigating, because they value different things than maybe you value, and they think in different ways, and they process information differently, because Jesus isn't their boss, but Jesus is your boss. And think about how you want to be treated. This is really cool, because this is what Jesus said: do to others as you would have them do to you. Think about how you want to be treated as a foreigner and an exile in this world, and treat other people the same way. Give them respect when they don't understand what you're talking about. When they don't understand the language that you're speaking. When they don't understand the light that is in you, be patient with them. Be full of love and joy and peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. This is the opportunity that we have to allow the fruit, the evidence of God's Spirit inside of us to move through us and to love people who may be foreigners or exiles, to look at them through the lens of Jesus and to love them the way we would want to be loved. And as we think about life posting at work, it's an opportunity to be different. This isn't our home, so we're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of doing everything to get ahead, no matter what the cost is, to dominate, win, control, etc., we have a different boss, a different mindset. We work hard, but it's for God's glory, to do good, and not to put people in their place, to silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. But instead of them saying ignorant and foolish things, they're quiet and they listen. That's good. I want that for me when I'm ignorant and foolish and I'm running my mouth. It's kind of nice if, I shut up and realize, oh, I was wrong there. That can be a real blessing. To be different, to be free, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. To be free, not to engage in the same things, to have integrity. Now, having integrity may cost you. That's kind of the beauty of it. That's how you know how much your integrity is worth, by the way. How much are you willing to lose to be a person of integrity? And to be free, though, to say, you know what? It doesn't matter what it costs because this is who I am, and therefore I'm going to let my light shine, and I'm going to be free. I'm going to be free to not, express anger and frustration at a coworker or my boss, but rather to be kind and gentle and patient, express things appropriately in the right time, in the right way, which also is being intentional, to be intentional at work, to understand why we're there, to live such good lives among them, that wait a minute, I'm here not to get something, but I'm here to contribute and to be a part and to share God's love, and be respectful. Submit yourself to every authority. And we're submissive in that regard. And Jesus understands that authority, and he honors that. And we have the opportunity when we're saying, okay, Jesus is first. He's always who I'm reporting to. He is Lord. And as Jesus transforms our work, then Jesus will use our work. And this is really good. It's not just about making money for a company or advancing some other cause. Jesus will use our work as he uses us to reveal who he is. Verse 16 says, live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of believers. Fear God. Honor the emperor. Slaves, in reverent fear, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. For it is commendable if someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering because they are conscious of God. But how is it to your credit if you receive a beating for doing wrong and endure it? But if you suffer for doing good and you endure it, this is commendable before God. To this you were called because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his ways. Let's not forget who we follow. This is a really important thing to understand. We follow Jesus. Jesus, who was sinless and perfect. Jesus, who shared good news with everyone. Jesus, who healed people and fed them. Jesus, the perfect Son of God, who was crucified. And he submitted himself to that and willingly went to the cross because he loves this world that much. If you're a follower of Jesus, then you're saying, that's the guy I want to be like. It stands to reason that if we're like Jesus in this world, we're going to endure some hardship. We're going to endure some persecution. We're going to endure some unfairness. But what a joy it is when we're following our boss, Jesus, and we're living and loving like he loves, and his love is moving through us, and his light is shining through us in our world. it produces a fruit that lasts for all of eternity. That's worth working for.
Yeah, that's good.
That's worth giving your life for. And that's why it's worth it. To keep showing up, to keep praying, to keep encouraging, to keep doing your best. Keep showing up. Jesus did the work of salvation for us. He went to the cross and took our sin inside of him, put it to death on the cross, and rose again. And when we celebrate communion, we not only remember, but we respond. If Jesus is your boss and your Lord and your life is his, then would you say, yes, Jesus, and take the bread? Yes, Jesus. And if Jesus is truly your boss, that means he's the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. He's the top authority over all authorities. If you can trust Jesus as your king, would you say to the king? To the king. Right now, if you would open up your hands in a posture of receiving. And just take a deep breath. God has a blessing for you right now. In the nose, out the mouth. And say, God, I receive the work you give me as a blessing. God, I receive the work you give me as a blessing. Receive that from him right now.